Welcome back to this week's session or discussion on the politics of the country. I'm sure you really want me to talk about some of the things that are happening around Uhuru and security and what. But I want to go back a little bit into my history. I got into politics after the 2007 post-election violence. And I got into politics in a very interesting structure. We used to have a lobby group that was called Kikuyus for Change. And the reason we had set up this lobby group is because we believed that we have to find a way to use our ethnicity as a country positively. Because the reality then, and it's the reality today, I mean, I have now been included, I've gone into full active politics, I went into elective politics, I am now out of elective politics, and I am completely convinced that Kenya is not going to move away from ethnic-driven politics. It is the reason we do our politics. You know, in countries like America, they have issues of color. So you have Latinos, you have blacks, you have what are called WASPs, the white American. You go to a place like Israel, you have issues of within one religion. You have traditionalists, you have what? You go to Muslim countries, you find Shias and Sunnis and other Muslim sects. In African countries, especially those of us in East Africa and West Africa, our politics is driven by ethnicity. Nigeria is driven by a bit of religion. That's why you have a president and a deputy president who are always, either one of them is a Muslim, the other one is a non-Muslim. But in Kenya, for example, we are going to do our politics driven by ethnicity for a while. And the moment we accept this is when we can start leveraging it positively. The reason our politics is driven by ethnicity is because, first and foremost, we assume that the fact that you come from my tribe, you understand how I think, you understand what I want, you understand what I do. And that is why you'll find a Kikuyu in Mombasa, who's never left Mombasa, voting for a Kikuyu candidate because he believes tunaongea lugha moja. You go and find a Somali in Nyeri voting for a Somali candidate because ni ndugu yangu. You'll find a Luo, this is how you find a Luo in Thika voting for a Luo candidate because as far as you're concerned, that is what they do. The last election was supposed to be about hustlers versus dynasties. It was supposed to be an economic conversation. But let's be honest. If you looked at the formations that came to the final table of that competition, on one hand, you had Raila Odinga, who had to get a Mount Kenya candidate to be the deputy presidential candidate. That's why he got Martha. Then you had Kalonzo, who brought the Eastern Bloc. And then you go on and you go on. You had Joho because of Mombasa, and you went on and you went on. On this other side, you had William Ruto, who also had to bring a Mount Kenya candidate as the deputy presidential candidate, and that's how you got Rigathi. And then you go from Rigathi, you get Mudavadi, so that you get the Western Bloc. You have to go and get Kingi, so that you could get the Coastal Bloc, and on and on and on. So as much as we want to say that our politics is not driven by ethnicity, the reality and what we see is that we will keep creating formations that are made from different communities. Personally, as Gunji Wambugu, I don't think this is a bad thing. When we used to do the lobby group I mentioned in the past, we used to say that Kenya is a cloth of multiple colors. It's like the story in the Bible where Jacob's youngest son, Benjamin, was given a coat that had many colors. And it became the most beautiful coat. And it even actually got him into trouble. Kenya is a country like that. We are a country that is made up of multiple colors. And the reason we are a beautiful country is because we have multiple colors. We need to appreciate it. And the most important thing is to ensure that no color runs over the other one. But you're not going to make Kenya one color. It would be dull and boring. If that is a reality, if Kenya is a country of many colors, how do we then use these colors to make sure we are moving forward? Today, if the Kenya Kwanza government passed a policy that hurt the Kalenjin community, they would wake up and say, you cannot do that, this is our government. When you saw Rigathi stand up and speak against the issue of matatus being pushed out of Nairobi, he said, we are the ones who voted for this government. These Kikuyu business people are the ones who voted for you, Sakaja, so you have to protect their interests. We have to accept this. We are going to have to get to a place as a country where we actually accept that our politics is ethnic. I know the elites don't like hearing that. They want to believe, we're going to be driven by, we need intelligence, we need what, but at a basic level, when we go to that ballot box, you'll vote for Kamau because you're called Joroge. You'll vote for Wafula because you come from Western. And that is a reality. This is something that we need to keep thinking about, and we need to figure out how we're going to use it to build our country.